name is Tori Cash, and I'm doing my lesson plan on phonics. My objective for this week is to decode two-syllable words following basic patterns by breaking the word into syllables. For my review, the teacher will review decoding regularly spelled one-syllable words by using a website I found. It has 3 different games. You can do the first one, which is a concentration, is like a matching, and then this one, and the shootout. I chose to do the shootout. The kids can really interact with it on a smart board, so it asks you to choose easy or hard. So I chose easy. Just reviewing with them, so you want it to be kind of simple so they can remember. So first I would call on a student and ask how many syllables is in the word pen. And they would have 3 seconds to come up and click and shoot the word pen. So, the students will say, pen has 1 syllable. Pen. It can't be broken apart. And then I would ask another student, based on the other 2 pictures, which is a dog and a sock, how many syllables is in the word dog? A student would say 1. And then I would say, how many syllables is in the word sock? And I would ask a different student, giving multiple students time to pick which to answer. Now I would ask each class to name 1-syllable words that we haven't named. So, they couldn't name dog, couldn't name sock, couldn't name pen. So you go around the room, allowing each student a turn. For the purpose of my lesson is to teach students to decode 2-syllable words and follow the basic pattern by breaking words into syllables. Yesterday we learned about how every syllable has to have a vowel sound to determine how many syllables the word has. Today we are learning how to decode 2-syllable words to follow the basic pattern by breaking words into syllables. Tomorrow we're going to learn how to decode more than 2-syllable words, so maybe 3 or 4 or 5, more than 1. And for my motivation, I will read a short printable book called VCC No Doubling. As we read, after every sentence, I would ask which word has 2 syllables. Then ask the students to say the different syllables. There was when I printed it out, there was 4 or 5, so I just printed out 2 of them, cut them out. So for the first one, it says, I can read VCC words. Flip it open, and it shows you what 2-syllable word it's going to be. So the word is winter. And I would read the sentence. I would say, the man doesn't like the cold winter. And I would ask the students, okay, we had the word winter. What 2 syllables are in winter? And they would say winter. And you would continue with the book. The next word is dentist. And it shows them where to break it, right between den, because den is darker than tist. And then the sentence is, the dentist has a very big toothbrush. So we're just worried about dentist. We're not worried about any of the other words. So you ask the students how many syllables are in dentist. And they would say 2. And I would ask, well, where would you break it? And they would say between den and tust. The next word is temper. The sentence is, he has a very bad temper. So we're just worried about the word temper. So I'd say, how many syllables is in temper? Allowing somebody else to know, not calling on the same student every single time. And they would say 2, and then I would ask another student, well, what 2 syllables? And they would say temper. Okay, the next is costume. It says, I like his funny costume. Yeah, the kids will laugh. There was a way you could print these out in color. I tried to print them out in black and white. And you can show this under the elbow so you're not flipping, or print every kid out thing and let them have a turn. So trumpet. And it says she can play her trumpet. You know, asking the same questions. Sister. Asking the same questions. My sister likes to jump rope. And then it reviews the words with them that we learned. So we did winter, dentist, temper, costume, trumpet, and sister. Now we've kind of showed them what we're going to do. The teacher will be doing the match up worksheet. So the match up worksheet is where students place the cards face down in a row. So the cards are like this. So we have, you would cut them out all the way. I didn't cut them out because I didn't want to get them mixed up. So paper. So it would be face down and they would draw one. And they would work in pairs of 2. And they take turns selecting 2 cards, read the syllables on each card, blend them, read the words orally. So, you know, they're working together, trying to figure out, you know, the 2 syllables, making sure they're saying them correctly. And then we're going to determine if they match or not. And if they match, we come to this worksheet, and we're going to write the word paper. We also want the students to, I'll do one with the students. So I'll pass out the baggie, so each kid will have a set that has the beginning sound, and then each student will have a set that has the end sound. And then I would pull out, I'd make sure I got paper out, and I would do paper. Now I'd ask the students, when we put pay and per together, does it make paper? And they would say yes. And then they would write on their worksheet paper with their pencil. And then they would put those in a separate pile and start on the next ones. Okay? And the students will work in pairs using... And then after we did that, we would start the other worksheet, the pattern matchup. And these are color-coded for them. We have a red set, which is the beginning, and a purple set, which is the end. So I would have out basket for them, and it would be bask and then kit. And I would ask them, when you put it together, what does it make? And they would say basket. And then I would let them work in pairs. And whenever they worked in pairs, there's a worksheet. I want them to glue down the pieces on a different sheet, you know, combining the words. And then once they have all 14, because there's 14 in that set, I want them to do the worksheet, where they write down number 1. We had basket. And I want them to write basket down. You can either give them the big worksheet, which is 1 through 14, which I want to give them the big one because it's first grade and you want first graders to have a larger set. But if you wanted to say paper, you could cut it in half, and so it's 2 sets. But both work the same way. Okay, and while you're doing that, you observe, making sure they're saying the beginning syllable and the end syllable, and they're putting together and making the word. For my closure, the teacher will have a group of pieces similar to the activity set that we've already done. And I will draw 2 pieces. Y'all have a set that's beginning sound and end sound. And these make puzzles. So, you know, I would have sandwich. So I draw sand and then witch. And I would ask and I would say, what word do we make? And I would say, we have sand and witch. So when we combine them together, what word does it make? And I would call on a student and they would say sandwich. Repeating this step several times, you know, there's camel and tiger. I have several of them. Window, pillow, shampoo. Repeating it several times so I give each student an opportunity. Not every student will get to go because we only have so many. Allowing each student to take turns now. Name 1 2-syllable word. So after we've completed this activity, we would allow students to go through the room and let them name their own word. So, you know, some could say winter, some could say trumpet, some could say reptile, plastic, cactus. And they could, most likely, these would probably be some of their spelling words too, so they could look back at their spelling words and help them figure out what word they could use for a two-syllable word. The students will, for their homework, will go home and find different pictures. Or they could draw a picture, or they could find an object as long as it's a two-syllable word. And they could bring back to class and we'd kind of have a show and tell. You know, maybe they would bring a pillow or a blanket, or they could bring, maybe they have a plant cactus, or maybe they have a toy robot, or they have a stuffed monkey. Okay. Another example was a magnet. And a worksheet will be handed out to the parents to make sure that the parents understand the activity and not just the students. Early finishers will go to the computer and practice a two-syllable words. So I have another game, and it's called Syllable Split. Okay, so you press play, and you can choose to choose kids based on what they think they can do. They can choose level 1, 2, or 3. And it says, Syllable Sammy is cutting wood to build a new home and he needs your help. For every 6 words you read correctly, you will earn logs to build his house. Sammy will cut the wood into syllables. To make them easier for you to read, click on the word he says to earn points. So let's just say we did level 1. Okay, he said magnet. So the kids would have to decide which one of those words is magnet. And if they clicked on the right one, and they would keep going until everyone finished. And we would try to make sure all the students got an opportunity to play the game. For the English language learners will be given a set of pieces like the ones we did. Probably the easiest ones for them would be the one that was the paper and monkey, and they had the pictures to kind of help them guide. So we'd give them this worksheet, allowing them to take it home, practice during enrichment time, practice during center time, and we would make sure they're really understanding the words, making sure they understand where to break it based on the vowel. The student with a reading disability will be paired with another student to help work on pronouncing the different syllables in the word during free time, enrichment, or center time. For remediation, the teacher will work in small groups with students who need remediation and help them sound out and figure out how and where to split two-syllable words. The teacher will also use one of the worksheets from the lesson to help model to students two-syllable words. Most likely the easiest would be the purple and red one, so they know that this is the first syllable, this is the second syllable, because the colors are different. Or she could use the one with the puzzle pieces, because very lightly it has a number 7. Okay, for the enrichment, the early finishers will get a printable game board and work in groups of 2 to 4 and practice two-syllable words. So the game board looks like this. And I would print it, didn't have color, so I printed it in black and white, but you can print it in color, and I would laminate it. So all the players choose a marker and place it on the start. So here are the markers. It says to do 2 to 4 players only, and each player will have a turn, roll the dice, draw a card from the pile. If you roll an even number 2, 4, 6, your job is to tell your partner where you would separate the syllables. For example, I would split the word signal, signal. If your partner agrees with you, move your marker the number on the die. So you'd have to have a die to play with them, the pieces and the board, and you'd have to have the cards. There's 4 sets. If you roll an odd number, your job is to tell their partner all the short vowel sounds in the word. For example, which they've already done short vowels, so they should know how to do this also. If you land on the space with special instructions, you need to follow the directions right away. Special instructions only need to be followed for the spaces you land on. So, for example, like go back. And the player that gets to end first wins, finished space wins. So the kids, maybe the person that wins gets a treat, maybe like a piece of candy out of the jar. And that is my lesson. Thank you.